You can start the meeting now. I think we're running.
Yes, sir. Good morning. If we could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Any person at this time may appear before the court regarding any general issue or matter that a 3-minute agenda item. May speak.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, Sheriff.
How are you this morning?
Doing fine, sir. How are you this morning?
Good. Good morning, Commissioners. Just to inform you, we have 49 inmates. We also have about 95% of the completion of our recreation center for the jail. So that's going very well in place. Other than that, everything's within normal limits. We have no other report to report this morning.
Okay, we do have one person signed in, Judge, Cynthia De Luna.
De Luna, you make them.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Once again, I'm here, and I hate to be here. I'm here just due to the fact that I feel that I've been suspended for 2 of my cycles for rotation for the county due to the fact that on August 4th, I was dispatched to pick up an RV and felt that I couldn't pick it up. They asked for a large wrecker. When I left the scene, I was under the impression that they were going to send a county unit because it was really something that should be at the dumpster, not in somebody's storage yard. It's like not somebody that broke down with the RV, somebody cleaning their yards. And due to the fact that somebody did that, I'm having to pay the consequences and be off rotation for 2 weeks or 2 of my rotation cycles due to that because they say that I didn't pick it up. I didn't get a second call. They would have told me that I was going to get thrown off, which I was told that by Danny's wrecker driver, that he'd been told that if I didn't pick it up, I was going to be thrown off. I wasn't told that by the sheriff at that time. I was told by Danny's wrecker driver that if I didn't pick it up, I was going to be thrown off rotation. Well, they still left it in my place. It's there at my place. I don't have a VIN number. I don't have a license plate or nothing. I'm having to pay the consequences for somebody, like I said, that did something wrong. I feel that that's injustice to me. It's still there. It's just, I feel it's unfair. That I got a letter, and I don't know if it seems like the policy was put in place after the alleged violation. Like I said, if it would have been my RV or your RV or something, I would have known it was broken down. I can see being moved, but not to go clean somebody else's trash and they get away with it while I'm having to pay the consequences. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you, ma'am, for your comments. I want to make something clarified that I know you approached my office about getting on the agenda, but at this point we can't do that. You would have to follow up with the sheriff's department or anybody else that you had a conflict, and then we can consider any comment. Great. Anyone else that'd like to come before the court at this time to speak? Okay. Agenda item number 4, consider approving minutes from previous meetings.
Motion to approve.
Okay, have a motion on the floor.
I second the motion.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion passes. Agenda item number 5, discuss and consider budget amendment request from Justice of the Peace Precinct 3, Karen Canali, to transfer a total of $1,083.78 to and from account $600 from line item 12,453,225, travel, and $483.78 from line item 12,453,427. Conferences and associations to line item 23,623,573 equipment.
I look at the request and everything is good.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item number 6, discuss and consider budget amendment request from Justice of the Peace Precinct 1, Richard De Leon, to transfer $3,156.75 from line item 12,451, 225 Travel line item 12,451, 573, equipment 2,642.75 from line item 12,451, 427. Conferences, associations to line item 310, office supplies.
I've looked at the request, Judge, and everything is okay. Thank you.
Motion to approve.
I'll second the
I
motion.
have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, motion passes. Agenda item number 8, or number 7, discuss and consider budget amendment request from Jim Wells County Commissioner Precinct 2, Ventura Garcia Jr. to transfer funds from following accounts: from equipment line item 22622, 573, 33,000 to vehicle line item 22622, 577, 33,000.
Judge, the request has been reviewed and it is okay.
Alrighty,
I make a motion to approve.
we have a motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. Agenda item number 8, consider and approve budget amendment request from Commissioner Precinct 4, Huicho Gonzalez, to transfer 4,000 from account 24624, 35610, repair materials, Caliche, to account 24624, 48675, truck hauling.
Judge, again, it has been reviewed and everything is good with the request, Judge.
Just get it closer to the mic.
Oh, okay, all right.
Motion to approve.
Yeah, now they can hear me a little better. I'm sorry. Got pretty good.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. Number 9, consider and approve budget amendment request by precinct number 4, Huicho Gonzalez, to transfer, bless you, 4,000 from account 24624, 580, buildings and improvements, to account 24624, 499, miscellaneous.
Judge, it has been reviewed and everything is okay with the request. Thank you.
Thank you, Noe.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, motion passes. Agenda item number 10, presentation to amend 2020 District Attorney Forfeiture Fund as follows: 6,000 for gas, oil, and lubricant out of account 52,476,330 to rental space, 20,000 from crime victim and prevention services to comp software, hardware, 8,761.29 from trial expense 52,476,499 to comp software, hardware, $1,200 from gas, oil, and lubricant to miscellaneous supplies. To account 52,476,390, 1,235.63 from crime victim prevention services to community service programs, 47 from crime victim to pre-service, I guess, community services programs, 52,4076, 499.15. Anyway, I won't read out the rest of this. This is as stated, that's listed on the, but you have all these transfers: 10,320 from constant trainings, law enforcement, to law enforcement equipment. Noe, did everything seem in order and straight?
Yes, sir. I looked at everything and everything is okay.
Okay, if it's just stated, then, I know it gets complicated and I can read it all through there,
I
but.
think he's gonna have a
A
presentation.
presentation, okay. District Attorney, Carlos?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Morning.
yeah, this is not an action item. It's a presentation on the asset forfeiture account. One of the things that we've been dealing with, Your Honor and Commissioners, is our software prices have been going up, for the last few years, and it's gotten to the point where has to be paid through a credit card, and pretty much every month, and I like to thank the auditor's office. They're always helping us because we're always getting to the point where we're basically at our limit, and they've helped us by either issuing another card where we can pay for things that we need to pay for, or they've allowed us to get the checks to go and pay at the bank so that we can clear up some money. So it's what we're doing this time around is we went ahead and made arrangements to pay for the software fees annually instead of monthly, and that should clear things up. Another thing was Alice Police Department had needed some assistance in getting some cameras. They had gotten more than half of it through a grant, and they still needed 50,000. My office was able to help with half of that, and I know the sheriff's department also helped in helping them get the equipment that they needed. In addition, a lot of the conferences and things that we're having to pay for that in the past would either take a check or would take a purchase order. A lot of them are no longer doing that, and they want a lot of their things paid with a credit card up front. So these moves of money from one item to the other items is basically to cover those changes.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Garcia.
Thank you, Carlos.
Appreciate that. Alrighty, so then, it's just a presentation to amend that. So you don't need he doesn't need action item to amend none of that stuff, right? Within the,
All right, it's just a presentation.
but he is gonna amend all those accounts, right? Change them like he said.
But he's just letting us know.
Yeah.
We don't need to vote on it.
Alrighty. Agenda item number 11, discuss and consider approval of eligible project activities for CDBG MIT grant program through the Texas General Land Office, the GLO.
Judge, may I approach with?
Yes, you may. Yes, ma'am, you may. Good morning.
Good morning,
How are you this morning?
Roxy.
I'm okay. How are
Doing
you?
well. Thank you.
Did you get any
Good to see
rain
you.
on the way to Alice?
I didn't, it's all south,
South.
like south of
Southern,
Chico even.
more
I checked-
south.
I checked the radar because I hate rain when I'm driving.
Yes, ma'am, be safe on the way back.
This is just a little background of what I'm gonna present to y'all today. Can y'all hear me okay with the
Yes.
mask on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What we have before you is a discussion and approval of a project or,
Can you get the mic closer to you?
sure.
You can move it down.
Is that better? This is the CDBG MIT competition. This is monies that the state has from the Harvey disaster, but they don't have to be related to Harvey, like the Harvey DR funds, which is the Harvey disaster recovery funds. Jim Wells is eligible for this fund. And so I just wanted y'all to see who is eligible in this little packet. Cities,
Yep.
counties, council of governments, state agencies. And Jim Wells is on the list for being eligible to apply for these funds. I say that, but I'm gonna explain what this program is honestly not designed for counties, and I'll tell y'all why when I get into the scoring.
Okay.
But we're gonna do our best to put a best application forward for Jim Wells, and I think we have a way to do that, a vehicle to do that. The program basics, basically you're gonna be mitigating against hurricanes, tropical storms, tropical depressions, severe coastal flooding and riverine flooding. And eligible types of projects to apply for are flood control and drainage type projects, water line, sewer line, or facilities. I know y'all don't run your own water and sewer facilities, but you do have areas out in the county that have water lines and sewer lines that are provided by the cities that they're near. Streets, bridges, and items like that. You can't do anything to your courthouse with this kind of money. A lot of people have asked, can I reinforce or mitigate things in my city hall and courthouse? No, you can't. The minimum to apply for is $3 million. That's the minimum. The maximum is 100 million. And of course, everybody would want to apply for 100 million, but there's 1% match. And so that's a pretty low match for any grant, 1%. So it's a good deal. Where the scoring comes into play is there is a high scoring factor for cost per beneficiary. So what drives the point system in this grant is population and how much you apply for. So you can apply for $100 million, but if you only have 500 people, it's not going to score very well. So considering that this is a county project, what I did was I went and I looked at all the county areas that are unincorporated, that are considered census designated places. And Jim Wells County has a lot of census designated places throughout the county. And I did go and I looked at all of them and looked at all their populations. The other scoring factor is that they have to be LMI. So that is tied to this grant. They have to have that low to moderate income. And that's through the Census Bureau. So I went ahead and checked all those numbers, and I went through all of them from Alice Acres, right around here, Alfred, Amargosa, Coyote Acres, K-Bar Ranch, Loma Linda, Owl Ranch, Rancho Alegre, Sandia, South Paloma, and Westdale. And the one with the most population is Rancho Alegre. Rancho Alegre has 1,610 people according to census data, and they do happen to be 52% low to moderate income. So they meet the threshold. Several other CDPs meet the threshold of the LMI, Owl Ranch, Sandia, South Paloma, Alfred, and even Alice Acres, but they don't have the population. And so if we do the math at the minimum of 3 million, we just won't make the points for several of those areas. So I'm here on behalf of my company. Y'all hired us to guide y'all through this grant process. And y'all also just recently hired your engineer, and he's actually here, JJ Jimenez with
Welcome.
ICE Engineering.
Mhm.
And y'all have hired us to help y'all put your best application forward. And so in the last page of your packet, it does have, I did score the different CDPs that might make sense for this grant program. Rancho Alegre, since it's right next to Alice Acres and it does have the same drainage flow, we would probably be able to apply for both because they're contiguous. They kind of butt up to each other. They score well. And I even scored a little piece of San Diego that belongs to Jim Wells. That's in its own block group. It's not a CDP because it is San Diego, but it's in its own block group. And that block group is LMI, but they don't have the population either on that side.
Right.
So they won't score as well as Rancho Alegre, and it won't score as well as even if we put Rancho Alegre with Alice Acres, I think is your best option.
Combination, yeah.
Combination, yeah.
The option.
With that said, I know you have commissioners in each precinct, and I know that's kind of harsh when we say, well, it only works in this precinct or in that precinct. But just to let y'all know, City of Orange Grove is putting in an application for the city limit. City of Premont's putting in an application, and the City of Alice is also putting in an application for this same fund.
So it does fall within those precincts, and it's just approached differently because of the
Population.
requisites and
the
the
population.
low,
Right.
the LMI, yeah. Okay.
Right. Now, Alice doesn't have citywide LMI, but they have pockets of block groups that are LMI.
Right.
We're not hired in Alice, so I'm not sure what they're doing with their project. But I know they have a lot of issues with drainage, water and wastewater lines and inundation and I&I. So I think that that's probably the route they're going, and in probably the certain areas that are LMI of Alice, but I just really
Yes.
don't know the details of their program.
Those are getting into the detail, yeah. So
Yeah.
it'll get covered, it'll be addressed.
We are hired in Fremont and Orange Grove. I'm not doing Orange Grove, but I am doing Premont's application, and they're doing a big drainage project across town. They are citywide LMI, so they can do a project that benefits the entire city limit, and they'll be able to make those points with the LMI too. So they have a good shot too. Fremont does.
And they can go for more than 3 million.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, they can.
Mhm.
I think they probably have some sewer issues also, and maybe some water, so they're
And
gonna.
that match applies at 1% to all of those entities, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
everybody has to have that 1%. If you do the minimum of 3 million,
Yeah.
it's a $30,000 match, which is kind of low compared to some of the other grants that
Considering the
we
other
apply for.
percentages. No,
Yeah,
it is.
it is. So it's
And
a
you
good
can even do
opportunity.
the in-kind, right?
What's that now?
And I know on another one that we've done in-kind.
Yes, all HUD and CDBG programs are usually, they'll allow you to do cash and in-kind,
The options.
and or either or.
Yeah.
And so they haven't, it's not set out in the guide, but we're pretty sure that they're gonna allow in-kind to match this grant with any of I know y'all do a lot of in-kind with your Colonia grants and your water grants and stuff like that, so that will probably be an option. So really what I came before you today is to kind of get direction on if y'all have any other ideas, or if y'all have any, if y'all would like me to go forward with this project for Rancho Alegre and probably Alice Acres, just because they're contiguous. I think we have a good shot there. And once we do that, I will work with JJ to come up with a good plan for that area, whether it includes drainage, water, wastewater. I know there's a lot of needs in Rancho Alegre because I just did a project and part of it. And I've talked with you, Commissioner, about colonias there, and they're in dire need of a lot of things. So with this grant, we would hope to alleviate some of that problem and help it, help that community. They are already serviced by the city, so that wouldn't be a problem. We would have to come back to Commissioners Court. I think you'll have court next Friday with a resolution saying that this is the project we're going to go for. This is how much money we can go up to. We'll probably put a range in there, and then we would probably we might end up. I'm not sure at this point, but we might end up having to do an interlocal with the city, just in case we touch their lines with this project.
Okay.
So.
And so, you had said that we could do up to 3 projects?
So the way it works is the state will allow you to submit 3 applications, but they will not look at you have to prioritize them. So they'll only look at the first one. And then once the whole state gets funding, if there's money left over, then they'll start looking at the second and third applications. We do know some counties and cities that are up the coast that are applying for $40 million projects, $70 million projects. Apparently they have the match for that, and they have the population and the LMI, like in the Beaumont area. So we're hoping that they leave us some money.
There's a high possibility right now, especially with some of these monies that were, the way I understand it, were carried over from the previous. So we may be eligible for those second, third priority projects.
Right, and
For all
also,
that money that was carried over.
right,
A bit of money, we should get a lot
there's
of money.
quite a bit of money in there. One thing is also that I wanted to bring up is just like the DR funds in the first round, I'm not sure if y'all got DR funds, but the COG managed those funds. This is a competitive fund. There's also going to be an allocation fund. I'm not sure how they're going to run it, but the COG is supposed to get a state allocation, and they usually do a method of distribution throughout the entire COG region. So hopefully Jim Wells would get an allocation. It wouldn't be competitive. It would just be coming up with projects to use that money for. So that's something to keep in mind also, because there's other additional funds that are also coming down.
Yes, ma'am. Great. Just so everybody can know, there is quite a bit of money available for these projects. That's why they're making these projects and these programs available. Aside
Right.
from the general, projects that are there, that's why I'm saying that if we don't submit for these, if we don't apply for them,
Yeah,
at a
you won't
1%
get-
cost, you're not gonna get a better rate or
No.
any kind of
No,
deal anyway.
not at all.
So can we go ahead and do the Rancho Alegre and the San Diego Southeast?
That's our recommendation. It's
I see
up
that
to
they're
the
in
court.
red, yes. Yes.
It's up to the court if that's how the direction y'all want to go.
Commissioner, we have 2 other commissioners that are out, unfortunately.
I
today.
know.
I like
Because that's-
the grant, go ahead, Margie.
The south part of San Diego is where they have the the north part, where the
Okay.
roads are horrible due to the very bad drainage.
In
And
San
that
Diego?
part is in Jim Wells County.
Okay. I did look at, it's actually one big block group.
Yes.
You would be able to use that entire population if you could come up with a project that benefits that population. If you wanted to, you could, San Diego, I'm not sure if Duval qualified for this. I didn't even
They
check.
didn't. I looked.
So
at-
if they're not in there, I'm not sure if we could do a partnership just in case the project would benefit
More.
the other side of the county line, then we would have to do some type of interlocal to do a project that would affect, like if the drainage basin, if you did a drainage project and it affected a lot more of San Diego, we'd have to kind of look at that, but that's what JJ's for. I don't do that part.
I'll make a motion to approve. Okay, I have a motion on the floor.
I'll second the
And
motion.
the second on the motion, all those favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
All those opposed, motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Roxy.
Thank
Appreciate it.
you.
Have a
I
great day, safe
appreciate it.
trip.
Thank
back.
you.
Thank you. Okay, Commissioners, just move on. I'm not sure if I should go into the next one or let's see. Agenda item 13. 12 or 13. Do we have somebody to come before the court so we could, Okay, Mr. Martinez, Larry, EDC Director, you can come forward. Before we move on to 12 and 13, I'm not sure about adopting the resolution as you stated first, but maybe we need to, go to 13 and,
This,
I know that,
Judge,
just go ahead
this
and
would
give
be
us an
under
overview.
executive session. I'm sorry for the interruption.
Sure, no, go right ahead.
Okay. So let me, give you a little background so that we're familiar with what the issues are. May I take off my mask to speak?
Sure, you may. Yes, sir.
Thank you, thank you. So probably about 3 or 4 months ago, we're working on a project, and I know, Judge, you've been in some of the conversations
Yeah.
with some gentlemen out of a different state. They're looking at expanding one of our projects here in Alice, actually in Jim Wells
An
County.
existing,
Existing
business,
facility
right, right.
at one of our local companies. They are looking at an expansion from about 100 employees to about 200 to 300 plus. In those conversations, we've also had some discussions with the city and what we could work on as far as participation on their part. Again, being that it's a county project, we're kind of between a rock and a hard place. But nevertheless, this is what we've been working on. We've also been working with the governor's office through State Senator Hinojosa and providing some funds that would be available through the state. I know the state has some funds that they're looking at, and we've had some discussions with them. There's a gentleman out of Austin, Washington, that used to be our lieutenant governor. His name was Ben Barnes. He's kind of ramrodding this project, and they are also seeking funding from the research side because this is a research facility that provides research and development for the prevention of diseases and things of that magnitude. Okay, there's some clinical trials that will take place, and in the clinical trials, the facility that we're looking at expanding is part of that, and it's part of actually a nationwide global issue that we're dealing with that has some repercussions from the Department of Defense and from China and different other countries. So we've been in discussions with these gentlemen. They actually came down and we visited with the COO from this company. I believe you were there, Judge, and kind of looking at a funding package on how we would apply or provide them an incentive. I've come to you prior to this on our tax abatement process that you've passed probably about 2 years ago and discussed what the possibilities are to expand, to allow an abatement process, which is in place already. So that's not an issue. What we're looking at is through the CARES Act to provide some additional monies for the package. We are competing with 2 other states that the company does own, and they're looking for the best viable project that they want to enhance. So far, they've considered the Jim Wells County one a premier site because of them being in the business for the past 20, 30 years. They have probably around 100 and something employees, and they're willing to expand. We're trying to provide them with that incentive to go ahead and make the decision to come to Jim Wells County. Now, the offshoot is that, you have 200 or 300 jobs with a $40 to $50 million annual payroll would be a big boost economically for Alice and Jim Wells County. So that's our end game and what we're trying to do. The issues that we're looking at applying with the EDA grant, though, have some timelines, and the timelines that make it difficult are that, in accordance with one of the regional directors that work for EDA, the submission of these application needs to be in before October the 2nd. So there are some monies that are available to the program, but as all of us already know, grant monies are pretty tight, and the actual application does take some legwork, and there's some legal issues, well, excuse me, not legal issues, but some issues with water and sewer that need to be addressed. And so there's some engineering costs, there's some preliminary work prior to the submission of the application that it's just not a matter of, okay, let's file the application and tomorrow we send it in and we're good. There's probably about 2 or 3 or maybe more weeks that are need to be to apply this. So right now the resolution is to approve up to a $5 million grant from the U.S. Department under the CARES Act and with a 20% match. The young lady here that was a little while ago when she said 1% match, I said, man, that's awesome. Anybody get 1% match? That'd be great. This one is a 20% match, Commissioner. So a little bit different on how this works. So right now what we're asking for, Judge, is for the resolution authorizing Jim Wells County to apply for it. Under item number 13, though, there are some minor stipulations that we need to address to see if it would actually be feasible for us to do that. So I understand why you might want to look at adopting the resolution, but nevertheless, that's what the item is on the agenda for right now. So I just want to give you a brief as to how we all got to where we're at and what it is that's on the line here for what we're trying to do.
And just for clarification, Larry, and just to make things a little more, transparent, this is a Jim Wells County initiative. I mean, the city of Alice, I think all communities in Jim Wells County are going to benefit. It's quite a ways out. It's in the county. We could partner up or use assistance, but this particular, this company, this entity has established themselves in Jim Wells County for, like you said, 30, 40 years now. And
Yes,
the potential for the economic impact, the jobs, all of that, but basically we're in this on our own. The county would be in there on our own and negotiating with that particular entity themselves specifically. And we are on the radar because I think, from what I understand, it just keeps on evolving, but logistically and as far as location and all that,
So
we're the prime site.
So this 20% would be just the county. The city wouldn't take any of it.
It
That is
doesn't-
correct,
It does
Commissioner
not
Gonzalez.
apply to them because you're familiar with the,
Yes, I know where it's at.
so
Okay,
yeah, nobody else has anything, and
There-
that's what I wanted
No,
to
I was
clarify.
just thinking because of
So the
the
biggest
city
issue is
water
and
lines.
Sewer there,
I'm sorry.
water and sewer is a bigger.
Water and sewer, and we've had some preliminary discussions into it, and not cost estimates, just basically what we know of what it costs to run out there. But the bigger issue was in our discussions with the city is that, the amount of water that they'd have to consume or that they would be requesting would be a drag on the, again, I'm getting into some engineering issues that I'm not an expert with, but.
Basically, you take a water away from our resources.
Yeah,
here
there's
to
a
supply
percentage
them,
of
and we
water
can't.
that they take because they're looking at an expansion from a 10,000 human reception to a 50,000. So the water consumption that would be required might not be available because of the city not being able to supply that. In other words, if we expanded that facility, which would probably cost, and then again, I'm just guessing, in the average of $2 to $3 million out there, they won't have enough. It'd be hard for us to have something in Alice because the supply would be so much that it would put a drain on our water supply here.
Yeah.
And the city would be like, man, we're spending all this money under their new plan and doing their investment on their well. There's some issues with how that would work. So we've had that discussion with the city and their engineers and their staff. So what we were looking at and the possibility, again, this is all preliminary because we don't have the engineering design on it yet, but some type of modular system like they currently have with an expansion where they would set up a facility to draw the water, but with a modular plan, where the water facility would be set up on site. In other words, almost being like drilling a new well and things
Well,
like
in
that.
other words, the county could supply and provide that infrastructure because we wouldn't require the water source from the city if they do their own thing. You see what I'm saying? So it's either or, but I think that it would put a big drag and a drain on our existing water resources, especially right now when they're expanding here within the city. And it wouldn't be in prudent or in their best interest. In other words, the $3 million expansion or to get the
Well,
water
and-
out there would not, and how would they regain or
I
support that?
again, Judge, I'm not real sure from the engineering standpoint of how that would work, but it would seem that that's probably a no-go because of the draw that it would have in the water.
I'm just looking at it.
Again, all this is preliminary, Judge. In the event we do hire a professional firm to take care of this, there would be some engineering costs to be able to make a determination, and the cost analysis is how that would work. So based on the information that we have, we've asked the resolution to be up to a $5 million grant.
Is there interest from the entity, the company itself, from also as far as partnering up or?
Well,
This is gonna benefit them as well.
Absolutely,
The
Judge.
most.
And there
The
is,
most, exactly.
and there is some possible land acquisition tied to this as well. So there's several things that are factors in this case here, but the whole bigger issue is the timeline that we have.
Mhm.
This company is willing to invest up to about a $200 million
$200
project.
million. We need to add that. That's why people can know that it's a huge infusion to the economy of $200 million. Just right now, that it's just hinging on water sources being provided and infrastructure.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Uh,
it, there
from
was
the
an article
research-
that County, Michael Guerra and I spoke, and there was a good article we were reading about it, and I brought it up. I mean, just so the public can know a little more about that. The facilities research, you mentioned a little bit more.
Right. Now, this is just the infrastructure side that we're looking at.
Right,
The Ben Barnes Group, which is their client
yes.
that's working with it,
Mhm.
they're also asking money from DOD and some other issues because this does have some possible national security issues that would affect the country.
And
It
this
would be
step
the
right
only
here-
facility in the United
This step
States.
right here, in good faith, shows the company that we're trying to also meet them halfway. So that way, if we do this application and if we fast track and try it, because there is deadlines and this thing came up, the business deal, but those monies that are available, and I
Well,
think someone else can explain that later on, but
The difficulty here, Judge, is that we're also dealing with the state and with Senator Hinojosa's office. He's actually been really instrumental in helping us facilitate that. And my discussion with him Friday was that he's gonna let me know where it's at. So in the event, and again, I'm just assuming this is not a for sure, but in the event that we needed to facilitate those 20%, there might be some state money there to help assist that. Again, I'm just speculating, but those are some of the preliminary discussions. The idea is to marry the state, the county, and the groups and the company together to see how we can provide the incentive package that's needed to attract them to this industry. So that's the resolution is what you have before you on the agenda. If we'd like, we can expand a little bit more under item 13 as far as how this
far
would
as
be
the
take
RFPs
place.
So my question is, we're gonna be going out for RFPs and RFQs?
that's the point of contention. This is what we need to discuss. Did you talk a little bit about the timeline we have here, as far as the timeline that we have?
In our discussions with the regional office in Austin for the submittal of the application, October 2nd is the actual deadline. So without expanding a little bit more into, and I don't know how the liberty to discuss it under item 12, but there are some issues in regards to the RFPs on
Okay.
whether or not we could do them in a timely
Leave it
fashion.
at that. As far as the resolution goes, commissioners,
Yeah.
what do we, as far as,
Michael's on there. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, it might,
We can't hear you.
how about now?
there we go. sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Good
Can y'all
morning.
see, the problem is we can't hear y'all, you three. So I had to put earplugs in, but it doesn't have a microphone. Since we're gonna do the RFQ or RFP for the professional services and the preparation of the application, maybe we should table the resolution because this wording, there's one company that's interested in performing those services for us, and they put this language forward. That might not be the company the Commissioners Court ends up hiring for this. So just to leave ourselves as much latitude and flexibility as possible, it'd probably be wise just to table this until we find out which company is going to prepare the application for us, and then see if the wording that we have currently is acceptable to them. So at this point, yeah, that would probably be the best thing, is to go ahead and just table number 12, approve number 13, get the RFP or the RFQ posted, make it applications or proposals deadline for submission to be Thursday, the 24th at 4 p.m. And then y'all can consider those applications on the 25th, get somebody on board, and then I thought Mr. Martinez had told me November was a deadline. This is the first I hear that it's October 2nd. So yeah, that's going to be a tight window, but that's what we've got to work with. I mean, I've been hearing about this for months. I don't know why we waited till less than 30 days before the deadline to bring it before the court. So at this point, I mean, I think that's our only course, is to table the resolution at this point until we find out who's going to be preparing the grant. And we won't know who that is until we do, follow our procurement procedure, post
Right.
it, receive the applications, and then y'all make a decision on that.
Let's go to 13 and vote on them together.
Okay, agenda item number 1230. Thank you, Michael, for that clarification on that matter. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can barely hear you, yes.
Okay, thank you for that clarification there. And as far, I agree with you. That one point of contention here, as far as the dead timeline, you would know, once all this is sent out, like you said, we could expedite as far as posting and setting a deadline. Then we could determine at that point, right? Because we can fast track that a little bit. We don't have to wait 30 days or anything. We can, as long as it's posted, give everybody an
Right.
opportunity because we're in
It's
this
only
time
2
crunch.
weeks, I think.
Because we're in this timeline, correct?
Right. I've got one more issue. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
In speaking to Mr. Martinez, I asked him, okay, let's say everything goes well and we submit our application, we're awarded it. When would our match be due? And he indicated that it might be as early as the end of 2021. As y'all know, we've just been through the budget process and we have nothing allocated for this. So that's just something to bear in mind too. If things go well for us and we do get the application, obviously, you know, getting 4 million for one is a good thing. But we got to come up with that one, and we don't have anything budgeted for that. I checked with the auditors, and we don't have any type of contingency fund to come up with that match before December 31st of 2021. So that's just something to keep in mind, whether we want to, you know, address that now before we finally adopt the budget, or whether, you know, we either try to push our commitment back into early 2022 or do some kind of budget amendment between now and then.
We need to consider that, Commissioner.
Can we vote on these two line items, Michael, and then we vote on a resolution also address the financing?
We can save that for the next meeting. At this point, my recommendation would be to table number 12 and pass number 13. And then we need to get that RFP or RFQ posted immediately, either this afternoon or tomorrow, because we have such a short window for responses. We're asking anybody interested to submit a response by the 24th of September, which is 10 days.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion to table number 12.
Okay, and the motion,
You want to read out number 13?
sure. Okay, so number 12 is going to be tabled.
Well, you need to second it. Lincoln.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion, a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Okay, motion passes. Table agenda item number 12. Agenda item number 13, consider and take action to authorize a request for proposal for assistance in preparation and submission of the application to the U.S. Department of Commerce, Economic Development Administration for a grant under the CARES Act Recovery Assistance Program in the amount up to $5 million.
And Judge, the auditor's office has been in touch with Clayburgh County. They have been awarded a similar grant from this department. So we're going to pattern our RFP after what they posted.
What they posted, okay. And
And just out of, they're absolutely correct, and I want to say the firm that they used was the actual one that we were looking at. But nevertheless, Michael did mention to me about the time delay. The time delay is not at the last minute. We've been trying to do this probably for the past month and a half, but you know, issues, whatever it might be, have delayed it. But again, just keep in mind that October 2nd is the final, is one of considered the final. And when Michael asked me about the November date, what we mentioned is that the people from EDA were saying that by November they're going to be out of money because you know how everybody's asking for money nowadays. So the timeline is everything here, guys, and we can't get this in time.
we just try to fast track it.
Yeah, and anybody that would be applying for it is going to have that dilemma. So
being safe, yes.
yeah, so
I would rather be, I know at the end we'll be in a hurry, but at least we'll follow the process that we always use with RFPs and RFQs to be on the safe side.
And we are going to expedite and set that timeline.
Said tomorrow
shorten
we
it.
would post it. Yeah.
So to give everybody a chance to fast track this thing as it moves today, you know, try
Right.
to move this thing forward so we can hit that deadline. And the good thing you mentioned that Senator Hinojosa is in a lot of these times, and I don't know this agency or where we're getting these monies from, but if there's an opportunity for them to help us, I think we can work it out to where politically we can get them to some extension or something like that. But we can negotiate all that. I mean, It is a great facility. It's a great opportunity, not only for here, but state of Texas and the region
know,
and
that's
everybody else.
Yeah, and the difficulty, Judge, is the coordination, you know.
Yeah, and we'll get it, we'll get the coordination.
If it was
what
that easy, everybody would be doing
But,
it.
hey, but you know what? They come and dump these opportunities on you like that, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
these things come available, not everybody knows about them. You know, not everybody is out there aware of
Well,
these
and I'll give you an
funds.
example. I got another project that I'm working on that they sent it to me Friday and they wanted a submission by
Yes,
this Friday.
I realize, and you're
So,
under a crunch, I know.
you
You
know, the
have
governor,
multiple things.
the governor sends me proposals and I have to put all that package together and send it back in just to be considered for it.
Yes,
So
sir.
everybody's on the
But thank you
timeline.
for all the work, because you put in a lot of effort. I know you call me 100 times, and I'm sorry I don't return 99% of them, but that just takes one until I get here. We're here
Well,
today. Okay, but
appreciate
thank you
that,
for all
sir.
the work. Okay, anybody else?
Thank you.
Are we gonna go ahead and, I have a motion, a second, right, on that agenda, or did we pass it?
Yes, we already passed.
Okay.
Number 12, we passed.
And number
Yes. No,
13?
12 was tabled, we haven't
No,
made
but
a
we
motion on
passed the
13.
vote.
Number 12, we tabled already, okay?
Yeah.
Do I have, what do you all want some more discussion, commissioners, or we're good?
Are we gonna?
I
vote
make a
on 11
motion.
also?
To authorize a request for RFPs and
Second.
to do this grant.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor in a second. Agenda item number 13, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Thank you, Larry.
I think, for the record, I think Coach is on.
He's under loose spice.
Yeah, he's there, just for the record.
Okay, Commissioner
You wanna
Carlos
vote?
Gonzalez is on the Zoom, correct? He's on
Yeah, but he's got his mic,
his mic off.
needs to unmute the mic.
So has he, did we, I don't know. We're okay.
We're
We're
fine.
okay, President. here. Okay, we're gonna move forward here, right? 14? Commissioner, we're good?
14.
Okay, consider approving payroll and bills as submitted by county auditor.
I make a motion to pass.
No, we did. We have an add-on on that?
They
I'm
said-
sorry, Ventura, I didn't get that.
Yes, did you, have an add-on on the bills? On that purchase that I made?
He's not on? No?
He's on, but I don't think,
You can hear us?
Is that here? Supposed to have an add-on for my,
I'm sure you got it. I hope you got it, right? If not,
Ventura, we did not get anything in.
he said they didn't get anything in.
Of course we did. We took it over there Thursday.
Let me look for it. You can go ahead and okay the bills right now and we'll take care of that one for you. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Where do you get these in? Okay, we're good?
Yeah.
Commissioner, we're good?
Yes.
All right. I move that we approve the payroll and bills as submitted by the county auditor.
I make a motion to second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Motion passes. I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second, right?
Yes, I second the motion.
Okay. This meeting is adjourned.
Adjourn.
We're good. Thank you, commissioners.
You wanna-
JC, thank you, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ya no voy a los
Hey,
ojos.
Robert,